These are the PC myths that people are still following in 2026. And some of them just don't make any sense. And the worst part is some of these can actually waste your money and mess up your performance if you believe them. So let's fix that. Number 1. More RAM equals faster PC. One of the most common myths is that more RAM automatically makes your PC faster. And yeah, that sounds logical at first. More RAM equals more performance, right? Not really. Your PC only uses the amount of RAM it actually needs. So if your system is using like 10 or 8 gigs during gaming, upgrading to 32 or even 64 gigs isn't suddenly going to boost your FPS. That extra RAM just sit there doing nothing. It's like buying 10 liters of water when you only drink 2 liters a day. Cool, but completely unnecessary. Now, don't get me wrong, RAM does matter. If you don't have enough RAM, your system will slow down. But once you hit that sweet spot, adding more doesn't magically make things faster. So yeah, more RAM doesn't mean more performance. It means you probably spend extra money for no reason. Number 2. Closing background apps boosts performance. A lot of people think that closing every background app will make their PC faster. You have probably done it too. Open Task Manager, start ending tasks like you're cleaning your entire system. But here's the thing. Modern operating systems are not dumb. Windows already manages background apps pretty efficiently. If a game or a heavy program needs resources, the system automatically prioritizes it, and that's literally its job. So manually closing every little app usually doesn't give you any noticeable performance boost. Now yeah, if something is actually eating your CPU or RAM like crazy, then sure, close it, that makes sense. But closing Chrome, Discord, Spotify and everything thinking you just unlock extra FPS, you didn't. You just did extra work for nothing. Number 3. You need liquid cooling for gaming. This one sounds fancy, so people just assume it's better. Liquid cooling must be better performance, right? But that's not the case. For most people, especially if you're just gaming, a good air cooler is more than enough. Modern air coolers are actually really efficient and can handle most CPUs without any problem. Liquid cooling is useful but mostly for high-end systems, overclocking, or if you just care about aesthetics. Because let's be honest, a lot of people install liquid cooling not because they need it, but because it looks cool. Which is fine, but don't confuse it with performance. Your CPU is not going to suddenly become faster just because there is water flowing through the tubes. So unless you actually need it, you're just paying extra for something that your PC didn't even ask for. Number 4. Higher watt power supply equals better performance. A lot of people think that getting a higher watt power supply will somehow boost their PC's performance. Like going from 500 watt power supply to 750 or even 1000 watts is going to give them extra FPS. That's not how it works. Your power supply doesn't make your PC faster. It just provides power to your components. That's it. Your GPU and your CPU will only use the amount of power that they actually need. Giving them more available water doesn't suddenly unlock hidden performance. It's like plugging your phone into a bigger charger and expecting it to become faster as a device. It just doesn't work like that. Now obviously, you do need enough wattage for your system. If your PSU is weak, then you are going to run into some problems. But going way above your requirement doesn't give you any extra performance. It just gives you a lighter wallet. So instead of chasing higher numbers, just get where your system actually needs. And I will also recommend you to do some research about your PSU ratings like bronze, gold, platinum, etc. before buying one, and this is really important. Alright, now these next ones, people argue about these way too much. Number 5. Pre-built PCs are always bad. This is one of those opinions that people just repeat without thinking. Pre-built PCs are trash, always build your own PC. And yeah, sometimes that's true, but not always. There are definitely bad pre-builds out there with poor airflow, cheap power supplies, and weird configurations, no doubt. But that doesn't mean every pre-build is. There are actually some solid pre-builds that are well built, properly cooled, and make sense for people who don't want to go through the whole building process, especially for the beginners. Not everyone wants to deal with cables, compatibility, BIOS update, and all that stuff. Sometimes people just want to plug in and start using their PC, and that's completely fine. So yeah, pre-build doesn't automatically mean bad. It just means you need to know which one you are buying. Number 6. PC building is complicated. A lot of people avoid PCs completely because they think it's too complicated. You need a degree in computer science to even touch this thing. Nah man, that's just fear talking. Most of the basics are simple, and once you know how parts fit together, it's straightforward. That's why I made this video, which you can go check it out. Seriously, with the right steps, it's not rocket science. Installing RAM, connecting your GPU, plugging in cables, all that stuff that anyone can do with a little of guidance. So don't let that "it's too complicated" myth stop you from building a PC or even trying to learn about it. It's actually much easier than people make it out to be. Number 7. Gaming laptops are same as PCs in performance. Well, some people swear that gaming laptops is just as good as a full desktop. Here's the reality. Gaming laptops are convenient, but they come with a trade-off. First off, thermals are usually a nightmare. That tiny chassis can't push out heat as well as a desktop case. So your laptop's GPU and CPU are constantly fighting against overheating, which means they throttle performance. Basically, you're not getting full potential of your hardware. Second, performance is usually lower. Even if the specs look identical on the paper, a desktop will almost always outperform a laptop because it can handle higher power than the laptop and better cooling. And then there's the upgrade situation. Want a better GPU or faster CPU in your laptop? Good luck. Most laptops are basically locked in once you buy them. RAM and storage upgrades are sometimes possible, but that's about it. So yeah, laptops are great if you travel a lot or need portability. But if your goal is raw performance, longevity, and flexibility to upgrade over the years, a desktop will always win. Don't assume that portability equals power. Know what you are giving up before dropping some cash. Number 8. You need to upgrade every year. This one's classic. People act like your PC is gonna self-destruct if you don't buy a new one every 12 months. Bro, my PC is a year old. Time to sell and get a new one. Relax man. Unless you're trying to run the newest AAA games at insane settings the second they drop, your PC can last years without needing an upgrade. Most games are way less demanding than people think, and your system can handle them just fine. Upgrading every year is basically throwing money at hype. You're paying more for the idea of performance, not the actual performance. Here's the better approach. Check your specs. See if they actually bottleneck the games you play and upgrade only when it matters. That way, you save money and don't end up with the half-upgraded Frankenstein PC every year. And let's be real, if you're the type of the person who upgrades every year, your wallet is probably crying in the corner. Bro, let it rest. Number 9. Expensive is equals better. This one is a money trap. Just because a component costs twice as much doesn't mean it's twice as good. People see a $700 graphics card and assume it's automatically better than a $400 one without checking benchmarks or what they actually need. Performance doesn't scale linearly with price. Sometimes you're just paying extra for brand, RGB, or fancy packaging. Meanwhile, a cheaper part might actually give you 90% of the performance for the half cash. The trick is to know what matters: specs, compatibility, and real-world performance. Don't let your wallet bleed because the marketer decided to slap a higher price tag on the component and sell it as premium. Expensive doesn't equal better, smarter purchases do. Number 10. Dust doesn't affect performance. Well. People actually think dust in your PC is harmless. Like bro, it's just a little fluff. What's worst can happen, right? Dude, listen to me. Dust is a silent killer, which is slowly sabotaging your system. It clogs fan, covers heat sinks, and messes with the airflow. Your CPU and GPU start sweating like they are running a marathon in a sauna. Performance drops, temperature rises, and suddenly your $1,000 PC feels like a potato. Well, actually a fried potato. And don't even get me started on the sound. Fans spinning like they are about to lift off into space because they're fighting through a layer of dust. So do me a favor, get an air blower and clean your PC once every 3 months. And if you live in a dusty region, then do it more often. Also, when hitting the blower on the fans, don't let the fans spin, trust me. So, these are the 10 myths that people still believe. Let me know in the comments which myth you still believed and which one of these you know about.